In today's video, we're going beyond just finding the most comfortable airplane seat. We're diving into the seats that could literally save your life in an emergency, and the ones that could put you in serious danger. With aviation incidents making headlines in 2025, including tragic events like the January 29th Potomac River collision that claimed 67 lives, or the recent Air India flight crash that occurred on June 12th, 2025 that took the lives of a staggering 241 passengers and crew members. It was officially reported that on board the aircraft was 242 passengers, but miraculously, there was a single survivor from the plane.
सामने हुआ था मेरे खुद को भी बिलीव नहीं होता कि मैं कैसे उसमें से जिंदा बाहर निकला क्योंकि
Could it be that the survivor sat in the safest seat section of the plane, or was it just luck that ran in his favor? Watch this video to the end to find out. But here's what might surprise you. Aviation experts reveal that most airplane incidents are actually survivable. And where you sit makes a huge difference in your chances of walking away. Before we reveal the safest seats, let's shatter a dangerous myth. Aviation safety expert Christine Negroni, who has personally survived 2 emergency landings, states, "People do survive airplane crashes. Oh yeah, they do. The reality is that the vast majority of aviation incidents are survivable, but only if you know where to sit." Recent data shows some remarkable survival stories from 2025. Just this year, we've seen incidents where all passengers survived, including an emergency landing where all 80 people on board walked away with only minor injuries.
We're in Toronto. We just landed. Our plane crashed. It's upside down.
The key difference: many of these survivors were seated in specific areas of the aircraft. The science behind seat safety, what the data reveals. Multiple studies analyzing decades of crash data have uncovered a clear pattern that could save your life. The back of the plane is your best friend, the life-saving statistics. Here's where the data gets absolutely mind-blowing. When aviation safety researchers analyzed decades of crash data, they discovered something that the airlines don't want you to know. Your expensive first-class ticket might actually be buying you a higher chance of death. The numbers don't lie. Rear seats have a 32% fatality rate compared to 38% in the front and 39% in the middle. Studies of 20 major crashes with both fatalities and survivors found that passengers in the back had a 69% chance of survival compared to just 49% in business class. The rear third of the aircraft consistently shows the highest survival rates across all aircraft types. But here's what makes this even more shocking. Popular Mechanics conducted their own investigation and found that passengers sitting in the back third of the plane had the best survival rates in crashes. They didn't just look at a few incidents, they analyzed every commercial aviation accident with both survivors and fatalities between 1971 and 2007. The rear advantage breakdown. Seats behind the trailing edge of the wing. 32% fatality rate. Seats in the middle section, over the wing. 39% fatality rate. Seats in front of the wing. 38% fatality rate. That might seem like small differences, but when you're talking about life and death, a 7% difference in survival rate could be the margin between going home to your family or not. Let's take a look at some wrong assumptions. Most people assume the front of the plane is safer because the pilots sit up front, so it must be safer. First-class passengers pay more, so they get better safety. The plane's nose is more aerodynamic. All of these assumptions are dead wrong. Here's the brutal physics reality. When an aircraft crashes, it's almost always moving forward. The nose hits first, absorbing massive impact forces. The cockpit, first-class cabin, and business class take the brunt of the deceleration forces. Meanwhile, the tail section, where economy passengers sit, experiences significantly less impact. Real-world physics in action. Think about it like a car crash. When a car hits a wall head-on, the front crumples first, absorbing energy. The backseat passengers have a better chance of survival than those in the front seats. Aircraft crashes follow the same physics principles, just on a much larger scale. The structural engineering factor. Aircraft are built with something called crumple zones, just like cars. The front of the plane is designed to absorb impact energy by deforming. This engineering actually protects the rear section by dissipating crash forces before they reach the back of the aircraft. Boeing and Airbus engineers design planes knowing that the front will take the worst of any impact. The tail section is built to remain more structurally intact during forward impacts, giving passengers in the rear precious extra seconds to evacuate. The evacuation time advantage. Why every second counts. But survival isn't just about the initial impact, it's about getting out alive. And here's where rear seating becomes absolutely critical. You have just 90 seconds to evacuate an aircraft before it becomes unsurvivable. That's not a guideline. That's a hard deadline based on how quickly fire and smoke can fill a cabin. Let's take a look at the brutal mathematics of emergency evacuation. Aviation authorities certify aircraft based on their ability to evacuate all passengers within 90 seconds using only half the available exits. But here's the terrifying reality. That certification assumes perfect conditions with trained participants who know exactly what to do. Real emergencies are chaos. In actual emergency evacuations, passengers in the rear section have documented advantages that can mean the difference between life and death. Rear exits, the forgotten escape routes. Most passengers automatically assume they should evacuate through the main cabin door they entered through. This assumption kills people. Aircraft have multiple exits for a reason, and rear exits offer critical advantages. Rear exits are typically less crowded because most passengers don't even know they exist. Aft galley areas provide more space to organize evacuation. Rear doors are often closer to the ground on smaller aircraft. Emergency slides from rear exits face away from potential engine fires. Flight attendant training, your secret weapon. When you're sitting in the rear, you're closer to flight attendants who are specifically trained to get you out alive under the worst possible conditions. Toxic fume physics, the silent killer. Most people don't die from impact in survivable crashes. They die from smoke inhalation and toxic fumes. Aircraft interior materials, when burning, produce hydrogen cyanide, carbon monoxide, and other deadly gases. These gases are heavier than air and tend to flow forward to backward through the cabin. Rear passengers have a critical advantage. You can see the smoke coming. Front passengers are already breathing toxic fumes before they realize there's a fire. Real-world evacuation case studies. The 2016 Emirates Flight 521 in Dubai. All 300 passengers survived, but evacuation analysis showed that rear passengers evacuated in an average of 47 seconds compared to 78 seconds for forward passengers. The 31-second difference was attributed to less crowding at rear exits and better visibility of evacuation routes. The 2019 Aeroflot incident in Moscow. While this crash had fatalities, survivors were predominantly from the rear section. Investigation revealed that rear passengers evacuated successfully, while forward passengers were trapped by rapidly spreading fire. The rear exit slides functioned perfectly, while front exits became unusable within 60 seconds. The seat-by-seat survival breakdown. Safest seats. Rear middle seats. The absolute safest spot on any airplane is the middle seat in the rear section. These seats offer maximum distance from impact zones, protection on both sides from other passengers, faster access to rear exits, lower chance of being hit by flying debris. Runner-up, rear aisle seats. If you can't handle the middle seat, rear aisle seats are your next best option. Easy evacuation access. Ability to help others during emergencies. Less chance of being trapped by debris. Quick exit to rear doors. Let's take a look at the danger zones. Seats that could kill you. The most dangerous middle section aisle seats. Avoid these seats at all costs. They have the highest fatality rate at 44%. These seats have the maximum exposure to flying debris. Delayed evacuation due to crowd bottlenecks. No structural protection. Higher impact forces during crashes. Avoid front section seats. The front of the plane faces several dangers. It is first point of impact in most crashes. It has the proximity to heavy cockpit equipment. It's got higher chance of fire and fuel exposure. It is easily blocked by flight crew during evacuations. What about first class and business class? Here's an uncomfortable truth. Premium cabin passengers have lower survival rates. The 49% survival rate in business class versus 69% in economy's rear section shows that luxury comes with hidden costs. The front of the plane, where premium seats are located, bears the brunt of impact forces. Your action plan for your next flight. 1. Book rear middle seats when possible. They offer the highest survival rates. 2. Avoid middle section aisle seats. They have the highest fatality rates. 3. Never choose the very back row. Non-reclining seats near bathrooms. 4. Skip seats in front of exit rows. They don't recline and block evacuation. 5. Use Seat Guru before booking to identify problematic seats. 6. Consider United's Wilma boarding when choosing seat types. The bottom line, your seat choice could save your life. While the chances of being in a plane crash remain incredibly low, the statistics are clear. Where you sit matters enormously if the unthinkable happens. The rear middle seat might not be glamorous, but it could be the difference between going home to your family or becoming a statistic. Aviation incidents in 2025 have reminded us that emergencies can happen to anyone, on any flight. But armed with this knowledge, you can make informed decisions that dramatically improve your odds of survival. Remember, most airplane incidents are survivable, but only if you're sitting in the right place when they happen. What seat will you choose on your next flight? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more life-saving travel tips that could make all the difference. Stay safe up there, and remember, the best seat isn't always the most comfortable one. It's the one that gets you home alive. Safe travels.